Welcome everybody to the Genesis Mindset. In today's episode, Pulsechain is looking, the whole blockchain is looking primed to absolutely explode. It looks like it's just about to send. So there is a case that CRYPTOGRFX presented for a 16,000x, and we're starting to see all the pieces of that kind of a play come to fruition right before our eyes, as the Hex origin address also just staked 70% of pHEX and 90% of eHEX. So that means tons and tons and tons of eHEX is now out of circulation. It's being staked. The liquidity pools are getting thinned out. Pulsechain liquidity pools are probably getting thinned out because people are removing liquidity from the farms. So a 16,000x is not, it's crazy, but it's not. And you'll see why. So I have left the link in the description for that specific video. I'm not going to watch the actual video. I'm just going to show you the numbers. And if you do want to look at the math and get a deeper understanding of the math, you can check that out. So also going to share again how Pump.tires looks like it's ready to send, as the Atropa and pDAI whales basically totally dominates the liquidity flows of that ecosystem. And also going to continue the story of the Atropa Genesis Liquidity Pools and how we might be able to find some hidden alpha amongst the charts, the bondings, and the ratios. So 3 days. That's it, Puffy. 3 days. So we had this 7-day countdown with the Hex origin address staking for the 7 days. We're down to 3 days. We've seen every day there's like a new move that the origin address is making, or like, yeah, Richard's team is making. So things are really getting primed. So 7 days, 3 days rather. So good call, man. So let's get into it. So very exciting times, Heat HMR, and what's going on, Hex Amigo. So I don't know if you guys know CRYPTOGRFX. So he really exploded through the bear market. Really, really good, smart, intelligent dude. And he was basically presenting how just the basic math based on how liquidity, the mathematics of liquidity pools, which is A times B equals constant, and how much liquidity you would need to flow through it to get the kind of pump. So basically, at the time of this recording, which was, I think, about 4 months ago, 4 months ago, there was 35 million stable coins and Ethereum in liquidity. And so basically what he was saying is, with 35 million stable coins in liquidity, Pulsechain would require 1.1 billion to get a 1000x. 1.1 billion into just Pulsechain. And so obviously as Pulsechain is pumping, it's also going to pump all the other pools as well that it's bonded with. So this is something where now things are starting to get really, really very, very, very exciting, because everything is now so tightly bonded to Pulsechain. If just Pulsechain pumps, the whole blockchain is going to pump. And this is where very easily we can start to flip Solana in TVL, and we can start to flip it in volume. I mean, in my opinion, it could be a lot easier than we might anticipate. So certainly in volume, I think it's very, very possible. So then he showed, now this is the key part, then he showed the numbers for when you reduce the liquidity. So if you divide the amount of liquidity in the pools by 5, so instead of 35 million, there'd only be 7 million. If you divide it by 5, with 500 million, you get a 16,000x. So if there's only 7 million in liquidity for Pulsechain, then pumping 400 million or 500 million through the liquidity pools would pump at 16,000x or over 16,000x. So this is not like, it's not just dream numbers. This is based on the math of the way that the liquidity pools work. So I definitely recommend checking this out, because he definitely shared a lot of alpha that he's been consistently talking about, and Richard Hart has consistently talked about in the past as well. So I would strongly recommend going to check that out. So again, the link is in the description. And so obviously now the Hex origin address, I'm just going to play this little clip from Somi just to show you the moves that the Hex origin address has just done. So Hex OA staked massive amounts of Hex. So Somi's done a full video on this, but I'm just going to play this little clip.
Breaking news, baby dolls. The Hex origin address, rumored Richard Hart, has just staked 90% of all the Hex on Ethereum. Maybe by the time you see this video, Hex on Pulsechain has been done as well. This is the activity I'm just showing you right now. Look at the bottom right here. You have 90% of hex from Ethereum gone, okay? 90% staked. There is 70% staked on the hex on Pulsechain. This means it's extremely rare. Look at this. On the Uniswap pools, hex on Ethereum, only 266 million hex for sale. Yeah, so Richard Hart making big moves. If you forgot the logo, I mean, you want to consider thinking about hex from Ethereum, hex from Pulsechain, ICOSA, just the whole hex ecosystem, everything around that, just because it's getting super scarce to make more yield and stuff over time. This is the cheese share rate, man. It's making ICOSA worth more as well. Shout out to everyone out there. So yeah, 90% of hex on Ethereum is staked up. I'm sure like right now Richard's doing the pHEX, doing it right now. So everyone's going bonkers. Just want to show you as well. So how's the ecosystem reacting? Ink is up to near $3, up 20% move. Hex from Pulsechain up 20%. Hex from Ethereum up.
I'll show you those numbers in the 7 days. So could it be pegging in 3 days? Look, I still don't believe that narrative, but I just think, who knows, maybe something's going to happen in 7 days, but things are definitely 3 days. Things are definitely starting to warm up. What can we expect after the staking? Well, basically the staking is now removed. So it's done two things. So it's removed tokens out of circulation, like massive amounts of tokens out of circulation, which makes it more pumpable. And then also it's massively reduced the hex T-share rate. So the yield that you're going to be getting from now on is massively reduced, which means all the stakers who are basically doing short-term rollover stakes and then just dumping the interest over the next 3 to 6 months or however long these stakes are staked for is massively reducing the amount of interest they're generating, which is going to massively reduce the sell pressure on hex. So it's two-pronged. Still, the hex interest rate is superior to pretty much anything else. Now it's just become more like there was people like massive whales are getting like 60% APR in the year because of the size of their stakes. So they were just destroying the price. So there's definitely opportunities now for hex to really send and to massively reduce the amount that it can sell. And I'm definitely still hoping when I was sharing the Atropa ecosystem yesterday and how we can create our own markets that are independent of the wider cryptocurrency market, we would still, I believe, have these bull and bear cycles, the macro bull and bear cycles of Bitcoin. But I believe that we will have our mini cycles within there, with Hex being our Bitcoin as a massive potential, or it could be Pulsechain. So it's almost like all these pieces of the puzzle are definitely starting to fit into place. So what's going on? Live, love, laugh. Live, laugh, love. HotX, exactly. So HotX is basically on like a 45% dip. So HotX is on a massive dip because the Atropa ecosystem has been getting savaged because of the Pump.tires. So HotX at the moment, swapping eHEX for HotX is like a massively alpha play. So I'll show you now these recent stats. So these stats now on the 7 day. So this is on the 7 day. So I mean, we're like massively green while everything is red. And I don't want to be the person that's like rubbing it in everyone's face, because it always, whatever, it goes around, it comes around. If we're green today, we might be red tomorrow. So this is 7 day performance. This is pretty phenomenal. So 25% on Pulsechain, PulseX 45, Ink. Obviously Ink has that's massively spiked because the inflation rate was reduced by 10x. So now that's had a massive pump. eHEX, look at that. So pHEX and eHEX now really moving very much in sync. And so, yeah, probably, I wonder how much, so eHEX pumps, the way that this gets evened out is eHEX ends up pumping more, but then people swap it into pHEX, which is probably an interesting kind of a play these days now, because with the Hex origin address staking so much, I don't know what the use case is for eHEX staking anymore, because basically you're probably going to get a similar T-share rate. Well, I mean, you're going to get less of a T-share rate on Ethereum Hex because so much of it is staked now. So unless he fully stakes all of the pHEX, then maybe if there's less eHEX stake, then it becomes like more viable, and that can give it a use case and a value. So yeah, either way, yeah, as Almighty here points out, they all move together. So, and then what's going on, Jardel, and what's going on, Ollie Big Boss. So Hex equals Inc and Inc equals Hex. So they're all the same. So again, the 7 days. So I'm going to go to the 7 days. So just to show you easily this with just this 7-day data. So this is the thesis that I've been presenting. So most pump trump. So these are the first three. This is how much they've pumped in the last 7 days. And then if you go to the SOMI mode, which has pDAI, PWBTC, and Dick with Butt, I mean, pDAI and Wrapped Bitcoin are down 20% in the last 7 days. So basically, minus 20% here equals plus 100% in all of these. So essentially, this is just the same thing that I'm presenting in different kinds of ways, that the liquidity is flowing out of the Atropa ecosystem, out of the big core PRC20s and into Pump.tires. And now Pump.tires is really raring to go. So 9 in 3 days is going to be the end of the very first stake. So the Hex origin address staked, I think it was 250 billion Hex for a 7-day stake. And so within 3 days is going to be when that stake ends. So then people are going to be waiting to see, okay, what's he going to do with that? Is he going to restake it? Is he going to start full sending? Maybe he'll start selling that yield and start pumping the shit out of everything. Who knows? So yeah, 3 days is the countdown now for that the origin address, because that was the first one. And now today it's just gone and staked a hell of a lot more. So yeah, again, now let's go through these liquidity flows. So crime season in full effect. Most the pDAI make a vault. So how bullish is this? So again, this just simply feeds into the same thesis. The pDAI make a vault proposal wallet has started aping most and pump. So you can see here, and I'm going to show you this in just a moment. You can see here, like this was your bottom, and look at that. So this was, I mean, this won't just be the pDAI Maker Vault proposal wallet, but again, it's people. There's two ways to look at it. You can either just sit on the sidelines and don't chase the gains. That's totally fine. Stick to your guns, but don't, like, if you're going to chase the gains, you want to chase it kind of now. You don't want to be chasing it when it's breaking all-time high, waiting for some sort of certainty. It's like, okay, well, it's had this pump, but it could have a dip again. It's like, no. This pump is an anomaly within the last few days. It's an anomaly. It comes from, a lot of it's coming from the pMaker Vault proposal wallet, which is aiming to peg pDAI. A lot of it's flowing out of pDAI. So you know that's telling me the same thing that I'm seeing with this data here, that liquidity is flowing out of pDAI into those tokens. It's going to pump. People are going to chase it, and then that market maker is going to pull it out, go back into pDAI, and strengthen his position into pDAI. So for me, this is very, very bullish for pDAI. So all these memes are doing is just rotating liquidity and just filling up the liquidity with pDAI and all the other Atropa ecosystem tokens. So here, this was something that I drew out before I saw that particular tweet. So you can see very, very clearly there was this kind of downtrend here. Here, I mean, it depends how you want to draw these things. For me, I look at this and I'm looking at the wicks that are forming around here. This is really like a euphoric anomaly. So it kind of broke out, then you could see it retested and then came back into this range. This range was less euphoric, and this range was also that similar kind of euphoria. But what did we see? At exactly the same time, they all just pumped. We have these big volume spikes that occurred. Oops, damn it. We had these big volume spikes that occurred down here, which you can see, and they all had that pump. So for me, it's like, it's very, very clear that it's about to send. That's what I'm thinking. So, okay, what do I want to do? What would I do? Do I want to chase these? Now is actually an exceptional pullback. If you came and bought up the top, well, okay, yeah, you've lost already like 20%. Maybe it's going to keep dipping down, but you know, something is happening here. Something is happening here, and something's getting ready to happen here. So when a market maker starts buying a bottom like this, things are about to get real. So then do you chase the ones with massive market caps? not almost 100 million market cap, 5.2 million market cap, quarter of or 26 million market cap. Do you chase them? Or do you go for things with a smaller market cap with higher upside potential? That's for you to decide. So the smaller the market cap, the more that it can pump. So there's definitely ways to play it. So maybe you could also say, well, all right, I'm gonna spread myself out. I'm gonna get some of these. I'm gonna get some of these lower market cap ones. There's so many different ways to play it, but all I'm seeing is the signs are there. So where is that almighty chart? You know what? Let's put the almighty chart in here. Actually, let's get rid of Tron. But Tron's still an interesting one. Which one should I get rid of, almighty? Tron's interesting simply because it's like one of the lower market cap ones, and it's the only one that has this like. Oh, I guess maybe if I put it on, even on logarithmic, it's kind of still got that pan. I'm going to get rid of Tron. Screw Tron. Let's put almighty in here. So let's put the almighty chart in here. So I was only showing the Richard Hart ones, but the almighty is so heavily bonded to all of these now that almighty. Let's have a look at how almighty is moving with this. So almighty degens are on the chain. Let's get the 8 days, 7 hours. So we'll get this one. So this is the pulse. Because the liquidity pools are very, very heavily bonded. So what's almighty done? So yeah, I mean, there you go. So just simply by the virtue of the bonding, the almighty is pumped. So what have we got? What's the almighty from bottom to top? So bottom to top, you got a 2x or 3x rather. So very nice. Very, very nice. So the almighty is moving very much in sync with, well, probably more closely bonded to these, but they're all the same. They're really all the same. This is what's really beautiful about this. So it's really like, I don't know. When you see a pop like this, I mean, there's also these anomalies where you see a pop like this and you see these little communities forming. So the Cardano one, I love the Cardano one because I love the fact that there's been a strong community that's formed around it. So people are really working together. It's really bringing people together. Like I've even got people in the Tang Gang that are following me, and I've always loved what the Tang Gang are doing, but I've always been like ostracized because I'm the Atropa guy, and I love the fact that we're in a Telegram group together, and I'm interacting with some Tang Gang guys. For me, I'm like, this is great because we're all getting around the same thing. So I'm loving Cardano, and I'm loving the narrative that, I mean, it only just needs to do 2x on or a 3x on what most did in its previous all-time high for it to flip Cardano. So really, like the trumpet, the marketing trumpet is really going to go out. The other one that I really like was Solana, because obviously the Solana degens. Just anything to capture attention. So, so I was looking at Solana the whole time. So there's Solana. So Solana is like an interesting one because it looks strong. It's pretty much like it broke its all-time high, which the Hex one did, Solana did, and so did Cardano. Oh, okay. So Cardano and Solana look very similar. So I love these for the concept of attracting those total communities. So for me, it makes more sense to go for Solana than it does for Tron, because Solana is like the meme capital degen city of the world. And then Cardano is like, we've got the beef with Chucky. So yeah, for me, these two, I love the concept of these twos. And also I love this one as well. So, that's quite interesting. That's really quite interesting. This kind of like sell pattern that was occurring here. What was actually happening there? That's you had it with Bitcoin as well. So yeah, then this DAI. So I love this DAI as well because obviously, really any of the DAIs, there's USDC as well. Anything that gets to $1, and if all of these get to $1, it just really wakes up this narrative of like the real pDAI, because the real pDAI has the potential to be bonded. So all right, so that was a Super Bowl pump. Bitcoin shot up at the same time. Yeah, okay, interesting. So Bitcoin shot up. Wow, interesting. So I wonder if, Bitcoin shot up. Hey, here's some cheeky little speculations that some people are going to love and some people are going to hate, but Bitcoin price shoots up. Speculation that the PMaker Vault proposal wallet is Richard Hart. People are speculating on this. So Dickie taking profits from the Bitcoin pump and then bringing it onto the chain, or I don't know, and then just starting to pump. Maybe he didn't bring it onto the chain, or maybe like he's just taking the profit and it's just sitting there in sidelines on stables, and he's like, okay, well, I've got this in stables now, so I'm going to deploy it here. So I'm going to spend those assets. But that's just a useless speculation. But some people like that stuff, some people don't. So the eHEX T-share rate today was more expensive than the pHEX rate. So yeah, that's bad. That's bad. So that means really, yeah, Richard really did. Yeah, eHEX is really dead then, essentially. So yeah, I mean, I'd like to see how this transpires, but that really kills the use case for eHEX, except for just being a meme on Pulsechain. So I mean, if it's more expensive a T-share, then why would you stake on eHEX? Well, actually, if it maybe then it really means that there is going to be some ratio that exists between eHEX and pHEX where the T-share rate is going to determine eventually what the ratio is going to be, rather than it being 1-to-1. It might end up being like a 2-to-1 or like a 1.3-to-1, and it'll be determined by how much, like, which has got the cheaper T shares. So is going to be the cheaper Hex. So that could be interesting, particularly if they resolve the Hex gas issues. Well, the Ethereum gas issues rather. So Trump renamed Gulf of America on Air Force One, and Trump renamed Gulf of America on I don't know what Air Force One is, Rich. I mean, that's a movie, right? Trump renamed Gulf of America on Air Force One. Is that some sort of TV show? Elon is slept on. Yeah, Elon, less than a mil. So, well, half a mil. This is over a mil. So, I mean, in the orders, I mean, if you have a look at these to the all-time highs, just out of curiosity. So from this current price point to its all-time high is that's a 4.5x. That's pretty good. This is, that's more. All right, so that's just about oh wow, okay, all right, so that's about almost a 5.5, well, just over a 5x. Okay, that's interesting. And then this is only a 4x. Okay, that's interesting. And then obviously these are, damn it, these will be like probably like a 2x or something. Okay, yeah, like a 3x. Maybe this one will be more. Okay, 4 point something x. Okay, so Trump and Elon are probably like good. I mean, that's a good play in terms of. I mean, if they all keep moving at the same rate, then this is got the highest upside potential to the all-time high out of those, at least. I don't know about all of these. Yeah, I'm not going to go through and do all of these, but I guess you guys can go ahead and do this. Well, there you go. So this one is only like just a measly, just under a 4x. This one, 3.5x. So these ones, I mean, they got the narrative. That's what makes them interesting. But yeah, they're a lot less X. So, Paul, when you guys think about teddy bear momentum, bear got a hard hit caused by rotation to memes. Paul, yeah, I mean, I think it's just all going to go with when all of this goes up. I think maybe this just really fully sends. So maybe we see the Atropa ecosystem go down for like the next week, 2 weeks, month, while this just goes ballistic. Maybe we see something like that. And then the Atropa ecosystem will shine. Or maybe then this goes up, pulls back, goes up, and then it just keeps sending signals out to the market. And then the Atropa ecosystem shines. For me, I'm not worried. I don't know when. I just know that it's going to be after these. I feel like it's probably going to be after when these really start to die down, when they really go parabolic. And it's like, okay, that's enough now. So I think if I was a market maker and I wanted to maximize my tokens, I would stretch this to the point of making people want to FOMO. You know, like I would stretch it to the point of making people want to FOMO, that they're going to end up selling their Atropa tokens and their teddy bear tokens and whatever to get some of this. And then that's when the markets are probably going to start to reverse. That's where they're going to get chopped, losing tokens, chasing gains, chasing all-time highs that are going to go. Maybe this keeps going and going and going for weeks and weeks and weeks, and Atropa just goes down for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And if you're caught on the sidelines, that just sucks. That sucks. So yeah, I don't know. If I was a market maker, I would stretch that. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but putting myself into the mind of a market maker, I would stretch that out to maximize the pain, to maximize the elasticity between the top and the bottom of those two tokens. So then I can maximize the amount of profit that I'm getting in this one, and then maximize the amount of new tokens I'm getting in the one that's in the very, very bottom. That's what I would do. So this could be weeks, it could be months. I really don't know. So, but I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all about teddy bear. You know, my vision is on the end of the bull market. So whatever happens, the ebbs and flows in between, they don't really matter to me. So I'm the only pump token to bond to RH core memes. Get stuck in, Almighty. Cardano one is going crazy. What do you think about James? Yeah, James, I shared that on yesterday's one. James is cool, actually. Well, before I get into the James one, so I just wanted to quickly show this as well. So again, just showing the same thing, the liquidity flow. So so this is the DAI chart, so on the 4 hour, and then this is most. And then you just see the inverse relationship. So it's flowing out of one, it's flowing into the other, and there's an inverse relationship. There was an interesting point here where they really kind of like, there was almost something that happened here where these tokens became like heavily bonded. And then they're a little bit more of an inverse relationship. But then I also inverted this chart. So if you invert it, so then it will just show it inverted. And I did the candles there. And again, you can just see like, yeah, they're doing the same but opposite. So yeah, these are just the little clues that I like to see. So I'm seeing it again and again, over and over and over. So yeah, that just helps me put my mind at ease as someone who's in the Atropa ecosystem heavily. It puts my mind at ease. It's like, okay, well, if it's going into there, eventually it's going to come back, and then it's going to pump the Atropa token. So I'm not too worried. So that's why I like to look at these things and help people put their minds at ease. So there's a lot of comments in here. Thanks very much. Everybody's really, I think it was a 16,000X title. Fat Man unified Pulse again. He did. The memes unify the Pulse. So with James, I don't know if you guys have seen this. This is brilliant. So this is James. I'm not going to show the chart. I showed the chart yesterday. You guys can have a look at it if you want. But they're doing some awesome memes. I thought this one was this was hilarious. I wish there was some sound to it. Right through the firmament. Right through the firmament. Past PTGC. I don't know. I've seen it so many times and I've laughed so many times that it's not funny that much anymore. But anyway, I found it to be hilarious. It's mostly about Jimbo's face cooking away, cooking those gains. So FUPA worked. There you go, bro. Yep, there you go. What's going on, VKH? I made a Bitcoin ETH LP and a Doge Pepe LP and DAI USDC USDT trio, and I bonded Pump and Most. DAI to Most. You did DAI? Do you mean the meme DAI? Actually, you know what? Let's. I want to have a look at the updates on the liquidity with Almighty. Let's just have a look at the updates there. And so what are we saying? DecentraliseMe. Hang on, one thing at a time. So DecentraliseMe tweet. Don't be. So out with Tron. So Almighty gets promoted to the Richard Hart assets page. So copy Almighty. Let's just have a look here. The liquidity setup. DAI to pDAI. eHEX is not dead. It's rare. You can inflate. You can inflate it like crazy. Oh, you can't inflate it like crazy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There we go. I mean, I've always believed, not always, but I've very much believed that eHEX is going to make it back. So 226K. Nice amount of liquidity. So Pulse, Most, Pump, BabyX, Fupa, Mike, Hoha, Gonzo, and Hex. Okay, all right, nice. Oh, and then an V3 one. Okay, nice. All right, so let's have a look at this DecentraliseMe tweet. So there was a DecentraliseMe tweet. Decentralize. The first month of nice. Okay, hang on a second. Which one do you want me to read? Because he's got a couple here. So okay, I'll have a look at this one. I won't go into the marketing thing today, but some are very actually, you know what, I might read the marketing thing. Let's see what he has to say there. So some are very short memories. It was only a few weeks ago that the final pieces required to keep pDAI pegged were put into place. External keeper bots were created to trigger vault liquidations and to arbitrage pDAI and liquidity pools to sell into PMaker for $1 worth of collateral. Richard Hart pumped the Pulsechain and PulseX OA bags to 32.2 billion in March of last year, then told us how he did it. At 24 billion pDAI, that puts us at 134% over collateralized. But Maker needs the demand within its system to have anything for those bots to sell by $1 worth of pDAI for. Conducting a manual debt auction of only 5 billion pDAI fills Maker with the collateral required, whilst bringing the system to 161% over collateralized. Those who are amplifying the noise being intentionally created to shake people out into meme coins are the same people who have been shooting in the dark this entire time, the same people who suffered mass amnesia after the sacrifice phase. Yeah, there's definitely people that are trying to FUD the pDAI narrative, and as a matter of fact, like for example, Mr. Panos here, DecentraliseMe, Hotonomics 99 Capital, you grifters were told by me on the day the fake vote proposal went through it was a Fugazi. Now Richard Hart is selling his pDAI for meme coins, yeah? Gonna love to hear what you guys are going to spin up now. So obviously I've shown if this is going to be Richard Hart, why he would do that. Because he wants to mass accumulate his tokens for this. If you want to strengthen the system, you want to have as many tokens as possible. So making something like this is actually, it's going to be a painful move for some, but it's actually a goat move for the totality. So keep your eyes open. It might not feel like it, but the tree being shaken out straight after the final pieces have been put in place is something to be excited about. So yeah, for me, I'm just optimistic about this. I'm very optimistic about it. Even though my bags are getting absolutely savaged, I'm optimistic because I'm seeing what this represents for the long term. All that liquidity that's been wakened, that's come to life from the rest of Pulsechain, from PulseX, Hex, Pulse, all the core coin maxis who've now been basically given permission by Richard Hart to speculate, that's all going to flow into this. And he's going to take it and he's going to put it into pDAI. Well, at least that's what he could do. All right, so then let's have a look at what he said about the marketing. So, oh no. The first month of 160 hours of professional marketing for Pulsechain kicks off tomorrow. Damn! So everything's really like... Everything's moving. Everything's moving now. And it's 369. 369 viewers at this particular time. Salute to 369. Yeah, everything's really kicking off now. So I was hoping to provide two options for everyone to vote on. The budget, how the budget was allocated. The agency have spent a week debating the best strategy internally and have asked that we trust their plan for the first month. Then analyze the results and vote on tweaks. I think this is sensible. I totally agree because... they're the experts. We're not. We're going to have opinions and everyone's going to have opinions and get shitty. So let's go for a month and see what the results are. So the first month's objectives are to launch a multi-channel user acquisition campaign to boost user engagement, define and refine the strategy. The streams are defined as shilling, so targeting ERC20 sub-communities across X, Discord, and TG. The timing couldn't be also any better for like the Pump.tires. Influencer marketing, so aimed at mid-tier influencers with engaged ETH audiences. Social media management, create engaging content to be used on a variety of platforms. Paid ads on Instagram and Facebook targeting ERC20 sub-communities and crypto curious with a good income. analytics. So setting up analytics across the streams to track results. So this is going to be very cool to see the results of how this is actually going to play out. So more info on all of these images. I will post the results after the month has concluded. If we feel tweaks are required, we will vote on some options. So I'm not going to go through all of these, but yeah, we just saw the synopsis of that. So what I will do is I'm going to bookmark this, and I might go like, I'll be curious to go deeper into it once. Damn it. Oh, yeah. Did I? Okay, so bookmark, and then I'm going to add it to my content creation. All right. Okay. Yeah, very cool. Air Force One is the USA President plane. Oh, okay. So he did that in Air Force in the plane. Okay, right. Gotcha. So what did he do? What was said that he did? Trump. Oh, he renamed the Gulf. Okay, he renamed them. Yeah, I mean, he put some tariffs on Australia as well. He's just you know, for the first time we're doing America first. It's like, bro, America's always been America first. Every country's always been their country first. It's really no different. You're just taking it to the extreme. But yeah, good stuff. Go Trump. Whatever. Lol. Pump our bags. I got some HotX. I need to go back and rewatch the video. I rotate back to eHEX once HotX pumps. Yeah, that's right, Puffy. I mean, if you want to make gains on your eHEX, then that's what you would do. So it is a movie, bro. Air Force One is a movie with Harrison Ford. It actually is a movie. And it's based, I think it's, now that you mentioned that, it's the aeroplane. I mean, I'm from Australia, don't forget. So these like cultural things are not, like even the, I don't know if you guys know the Declaration of Independence word by word. I don't know anything about the Declaration of Independence. All I know is July 4th. So yeah, like it is a movie with Harrison Ford and they're in an aeroplane. So what's going on, Joe? What's going on, Belter? Pepe should also do well. Yes, Pepe should also do well. That pump happened right before the Super Bowl, and as Trump was flying over the Gulf of Mexico in Air Force One, he signed an order to rename it to Gulf of America. Then everything pumped. Everything's pumping because Trump's delivering, so the market's confident. You know, he's delivering on his promises. This is something that he needed to do. If he came into the Oval House on day one and he wasn't delivering all of his promises that he said he would, then probably markets are going to respond negatively to that. But he's delivering on his promises. Not only is he delivering, he's like, even what's the Doge, they're like making all these cuts. They're really digging into that tens of trillions or hundreds of trillions, whatever it is, deficit. They'll never defeat it. But yeah, they're delivering on their promises. This is what people who vote people in power want to actually see. Quite often people will say we're going to do this, but then they don't do anything about it. This time around, Trump, I admire him for this, because politicians will often lie to get votes, but he's actually really delivering. So yeah, the Trump pump is really like, this is the time, man. This is the time where we're going to transform our lives. This bull market, I don't think it's ever going to get better than this bull market for us in Pulsechain. It's never going to get better. The opportunities are never ever going to get better. Okay, time to buy pDAI. Yeah, I mean, see, the strength of pDAI, this is the thing, the strength of pDAI. I mean, if you have a look at pDAI, I'll go back to it doesn't, now it's really respecting, like, even though these are pumping, it's really respecting, but it's also kind of on a downward trend. So it's still, look, if this runs for like weeks and weeks and weeks, then I can really see this dipping a lot. I can see it dipping a lot, because the liquidity is just going to flow out of here into here. That's what I can see. So you might want to dip a finger into Uranus. 1-to-1 mint, 5 out of 8 days left. Uranus 28.win. Uranus might be bonded to Pulse in the future. The devs are cooking with Omnichain Layer 0 tech. I'm not going to look into that, and I don't recommend anyone looks into that. Sorry to say, O-Trees 0. To say that we might be bonded in Pulse in the future. You're on a different blockchain? I mean, I wouldn't look at those websites, everybody. Put it that way. I really wouldn't. So I'm sorry. If you're a genuine project, I do apologize. But that seems like comes from Helios, Dev. Yeah, I mean, it's got to. It shouldn't it be? You talking about not Helios or Helios the blockchain? Yeah, I don't know. Like either way, if it's not bonded to Pulse, that's really quite bizarre. So I hope I'm not flooding it. Sorry. Cookies. That's hard. Honestly, it's too hard. It's really too hard to tell. I don't know. Like it's really respecting the 1 cent level. So for me, it's next to impossible to really give like a convicted call. So as always, I just do what I always do, and that is just to scale in. So if it dips more, then I win. If it doesn't dip more, then I'm still winning because I bought some now. So yeah, that's the way that I like to do it. So I can't read the future, but I can speculate and say that I believe that the Pump.tires is going to absolutely ready to send, and I think if anything's going to pump, I think it's going to get all the attention, and then all the attention is going to flow out of here, and it's going to create a squeeze between the prices. So this will just keep dipping down, and this will keep going up, and then it's going to have like a capitulation squeeze, and then it'll have like a euphoric pump. That's what I think. So this is almost just like, hey, we're getting ready to do stuff, and then you got the 7 days, which is up in 3 days' time. Maybe that's what this is going to be like. Pump the shit out of this. Like everything's just primed and ready to pump the shit out of Pulsechain, which can then pump the shit out of this. So that's what I'm seeing. So how much money does it take to peg instantly? What if he's using the memes to make enough for the peg? I don't know the numbers on that, Andrew, but I know to make it peg instantly, like DecentraliseMe has done some videos where he makes it sound like very plausible. So if we had a look at that tweet, which the tweet from just before, he was talking about it needs basically like it's about the collateral and turning using the collateral for the Pulse chain to create the peg through the math rather than through the liquidity in the system, which I don't like the idea of personally, because it just presents too much of a risk. There's just people cheat. It's just very simple. So we need 150% collateralization, which means 100. Yeah. So if the at 24 billion pDAI, that's 134%. OA bags is 32 billion. So if it's 134%, so yeah, I mean, I guess this just needs to go up by a few more billion, which it's like, it's not going to need like a few billion in actual liquidity. This would be like, or maybe it is. That would be market cap. So yeah, which means it's not going to need like billions to raise it up to a few billion. So yeah, it doesn't need much, actually, to be perfectly honest, which is why people are saying it can be done within the next few months. But I'm crossing my fingers that it's not. What's going on, Diversify? James will kickstart that bull run on Pulsechain. So nice. Hey, yo, Marcus, what's going on? What is contract address for PLS? Are you for real, Muddy? Or are you talking about the meme PLS? My pleasure, Cookie. What an opportunity we have here on Pulse. It really is. This is like transformational. So yeah, this is the time. So massive gratitude to Richard Hart and awesome people like you, Stephen, always helping us understand it all. Thanks, Fatina. I appreciate that. Stewie, what's going on? Do you see the Pulse ecosystem being used by governments, countries, or corporations? If so, why? I think there's a potential for it. Yes, I do believe there is a potential for governments, countries, and corporations to use it. Yes, I do believe there is a potential for that, particularly probably more so corporations first and then countries and governments after. So if the Atropa ecosystem establishes itself as a truly decentralized financial system, then yes, I do believe there is the potential there for that. All right, so now let's go on with where we continued from yesterday. So now we're going to go into the liquidity webs and see if there's any hidden alpha. So now we're going to, I mean, there was a lot that happened within these particular months. So I got up to got up to? What did I get up to? To be honest, I think it was just these two. Bullion. Yeah, just these two. I just added these two, but then obviously within the month of August, July and August, there was a lot of liquidity pools set up. That was also within the first, these first. So I went back and I added them all. So now we're going to take a look at some of those. So now this is Bullion 5 with writing. It doesn't really say a lot, to be perfectly honest. Bullion 5 with Atropa. So Atropa has all the strength down to pDAI. It's basically saying exactly the same as what down to Atropa. There wasn't really much that I noticed as I was setting this up. And then teddy bear to scissors. So this was probably the only interesting thing that I saw was this massive wick here. And so something is happening with scissors here. So this is scissors to one of these particular tokens. So scissors to me is a very interesting one because scissors is the one that's like designed to be like diametrically opposed to specific charts. So yeah, Stu, keep researching, keep listening to the Atropa ecosystem stuff because from a decentralized financial system, Pulsechain in and of itself, no. Hex in and of itself, no. But the Atropa ecosystem as a system that has specifically designed assets that are creating hedges against each other, that are creating assets that can be risk-off assets and risk-on assets, that can make it very, very interesting. There's also other far more profound things to it beyond just part of the liquidity webs, but it's so effing profound. It's so effing profound that I cannot even start to share this. But if that comes to fruition, and if what I'm seeing, which is like, honest to God, it's like blowing my effing mind. Like I couldn't sleep last night again because my mind was just exploding. I did a tweet where I'm like, I'm really feeling like something's about to happen, and I wake up and things are happening. Like I'm in the zone. I'm in the vibe. I know that vibe. I'm in that vibe. And when I'm seeing this piece of alpha that not a single person, like there wouldn't be a single person and maybe like 2 or 3 people within the Atropa ecosystem that will know what I want to share, but I'm not going to share it because I think it's too alpha for now. But it's really like, it's like a dream come true. It's like a dream come true, and it's like it's the piece of the puzzle where I was originally saying, well, the Atropa ecosystem can be a truly decentralized financial system, but it's not going to replace capitalism. Capitalism needs to collapse. Like everything within this, like even your tokens that you're talking about, HBAR, XLM, XRP, they're basically adding a layer to the existing financial system. They're not going to fix it. They're just adding another layer to it. So does that solve capitalism? No. Capitalism is still going to eventually collapse somewhere. But this piece of alpha with the Atropa ecosystem is like, it's putting the seed of doubt in, or it's putting the potential in my mind that in actuality, this actually could be something that eventually solves the problem of capitalism. That it will, like, capitalism in the way that it's operating now will naturally phase out, and this will just naturally phase in, or the concept that's being developed here will phase in. So yeah, it's too much. It's too much. It blew my mind. Like, it absolutely blew my mind. And it's like, it's blown my mind previously. And I have mentioned it previously. If you've been watching all these episodes, I would have mentioned it a while ago, several months ago, but things weren't going right. So the time wasn't right. And so the time also maybe not necessarily right, but yeah, boy, oh boy, there's some exciting things happening. So that's all I can say. So, I'm honestly, Stu, yeah, just keep researching what it means to be like a system, a truly decentralized financial system that operates independently of the global financial system. That to me is more interesting than just being a layer on top of the existing global financial system. So when you say, can we work with governments and countries? It's not so interesting to me. What is interesting is we have an island that is a more attractive island than the rest of the world, that it's so attractive that other people want to come into the island because this island is like, I don't know, where does everybody go? Like, I don't know, what's an awesome, like the Caribbean or something, Thailand or Puerto Rico, or where's the Cayman Islands, you know, something like this. So that's, yeah, that's what I'm starting to see, put it that way. So, but, you know, thanks for coming in here and continuing to engage Stu. So Richard Hart hex bags were not considered coins in circulation anyway. So isn't he just stealing yield from stakers? Yeah, exactly. But then that's lowering the sell pressure, because now stakers who just keep jeeting their yield, now their yield has been like radically reduced. So especially short-term stakers, if you now do a stake now and your strategy was basically just like keep rolling over, you've got like, you know, 10 million hex, and you just do like 7-day rollovers, and after 7 days you take that yield and then you just dump it into something else, or you dump it into, I don't know, buying rent or taking it out of the system. Like that now, like that potential for those people is like been radically reduced. So not yet, Puffy. Not yet, sir. Anyone set up an Old Glory bank account? Seems a bank that won't debank crypto. I haven't, Robert. I think I maybe heard about that before. I need to look into it more. So yeah, it should lower the dumping. Man, so many words. Replacing capitalism, make it make sense. So yeah, I mean, look, capitalism has reached its limit. So if the Atropa ecosystem just basically ends up being something that like is just an extension of capitalism, then it's not going to be this new financial system that we're all hoping for. But if it ends up being a improvement on capitalism in a way that capitalism itself functioning as a self-centered, incentivizing self-centeredness and greed, if those are the incentives for capitalism, which has now reached its limit, then it's no good. It's no good. But if it changes the paradigm of that and switches it on its head and then creates incentive structures that are completely different from the existing self-centered incentive structures, then it can be a new financial system. It can be like this holy grail that we're searching for. But capitalism, it's reached its limit. So, all right. Yeah, so scissors to me is the most interesting out of all of these because it's diametrically opposed, so it's creating these hedges. To be perfectly honest, out of all of these, a lot of these are all just very much similar now. So Atropa's got the strength against this. So basically, they're all just providing all these arbitrage opportunities. But then have a look at this now. So then you've got the upside down R against scissors. And then today it had this like, well, you know, like a big volume spike, the same kind of volume spike here. But scissors is generally the weaker pair. Well, here, scissors is the stronger pair against this token. But everywhere else, scissors is the weaker pair. But here it's the stronger against this token. So there's like scissors seems to be something to just kind of keep your eye on. So to really kind of understand what's going on. Bullion, DAI, same kind of thing playing out. This didn't really show much of a chart. Bullion, Treasury bill, also same kind of thing playing out. And then, yeah, DAI. So now these are with DAI. So these were some new liquidity pools. So basically for me, the interesting as I go through these, you obviously have a lot of tokens that are very self-similar. So like they'll just move with Atropa, like pDAI, for example. The ones that are interesting to me are the ones that are like making the charts do different things. So this upside down R is doing different things, the upside down R, and scissors is doing different things. So I want to probably do like a deep dive on them one day, just those, and just have a look at all their liquidity setups, possibly one day in just a separate kind of a video. And then let's go the upside down R here as well. So this is the upside down R to writing. Yeah, okay. So the whole same starting dynamic where you just get a gigantic pump and then a dump or either like a gigantic dump, like it's basically just like rotating liquidity from here to here. It's basically like the whole setup of the Atropa ecosystem basically works like it just keeps increasing out this vacuum, this black hole of liquidity, where it will go from, where's my circle? Where's my circle? So let's say that this is the Atropa ecosystem here. Nice, it's black too, sweet. And then we have a new token that gets launched. And what ends up happening is some of that liquidity from the existing totality of the system goes into this, and then it just kind of gets engulfed within the system, and then it kind of goes back out like this. So this is how like it's just ever expanding this vacuum of liquidity. And so, yep, new token gets launched, gets bonded. Some of the liquidity will flow out of here. So this will, whatever it is that's within the ecosystem, will dump to pump this, or vice versa. And then this gets basically incorporated into it, and then the liquidity's ever growing out, just like this. So it's so cool. It's so cool. So I'll go through some of these comments because it's not really a whole lot. Not really a whole lot from a lot of pools were set up. I'm gonna have to break down September, because September is a big month, and I know like MV, for example, is a big. So MV was the start of September, and MV is like a key part of the Atropa ecosystem in terms of what's happening like with the minting, and like there's all these launches from MV now that are happening. So, and then Bullion 8 is a key part. So yeah, even Stu, if you're still around, this basically what I've been sharing recently is Bullion 8, which is gold. Then there's also gold standard. If you have a look at these tokens here, this is still the key alpha in all of this, in my opinion, is the inverse relationship of down to the rest of the Atropa ecosystem. So pDAI is going up and to the right to $1. Hopefully it will peg there. Atropa is also going up and to the right, but down goes down against those tokens. But then when there's the end of the bull market, people are going to sell their tokens. So what's going to happen? So people are going to sell their Atropa, and it's just going to flow. Either they'll sell it into stables, they'll sell it into pDAIs, they might even just dump the price into other like stable assets, but that's going to dump the crap out of the price, which is just naturally going to make the down price start to reverse. So then down is all of a sudden going to start to look attractive as a bear market hedge. And so as down is starting to go up in price against the Atropa, people will start to look at it and go, oh, I'll swap into here. You might even get some people that swap it into their, I mean, maybe this is the point that it goes down to all the way here. Maybe people just start swapping along the way. And then down is heavily bonded with Bullion and gold standard. So then there's probably, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm just going to quickly check. I just want to quickly check because I keep talking about it and I want to like reveal it when I get to it, but screw it. I'm just going to look at it now. I want to look at what Bullion and down looks like next to each other. What? What the hell? Where's the... All right. Okay. Because there's two Bullions. I think it must be the second Bullion. So we'll go to the second Bullion. Bullion down. 2.4 million in liquidity. No volume. Obviously, nothing's really happening in it. Holy shit. But look what's happened to it at the start of the year. Look at all the volume that started to flow into it, though. Wow. I didn't know that. Well, there you go. There you go. So things are happening. Things are happening. Either there's people that know about this and they're getting in early, or yeah, wow, Bullion is really going to deserve a whole episode on its own just to see what Bullion can do. So, oh yeah, old glory with Coast, and Coast is a great onboarding. So the Hex OA bag is for inflation control for sure. We had a few years to buy great prices and stake it out. Now it's going to be very expensive to do that. Yeah, exactly. Hey, I just had 555. This mostly affects whale, shark, and dolphin weekly yield dumpers. Harder for them to sell short-term Hex. Exactly. Hexagon lost in Asia. So what's going on, Addy P? Been a while since I could catch a live. Yeah, I haven't seen you for a while, bro. Good to see you. Missed most of the streams, but good to see you, buddy. Yeah, good to see you too, bro. I appreciate that, Stu, and I appreciate your open mind to actually try and learn. So I think the fact that you keep coming back shows me that you must have some sort of curiosity in wanting to learn. So I'm not going to sit here and say these are definitely going to be the financial systems of the future, but I'm seeing a potential, and I'm seeing a potential within the Atropa ecosystem more than I see anywhere else. Green's my favorite color. There's plenty of green. That's it, brother. There is plenty of green. I think the Pulsechain, I think the problem is Usury, the debt-based Ponzi system. Usury. I need to look that word up. Yeah, the debt-based, the illegal action or practice of lending money at unreasonably high rates of interest. Yeah, there you go. So it's just the debt-based Ponzi system. That's exactly all it is. And so everybody's just complicit to the debt-based Ponzi system that's basically been invented by the Federal Reserve, taking it off the gold standard. Who wins in that? Not me, not you. Who wins in that? The big banks. The big banks win in that. So late to the show, but I'm here. Good to see you, Matt. Was Hex going to be used as collateral to peg pDAI? It hasn't been mentioned, but there's always the potential for that, Alan, for sure. Can you do a GBABY chart, Finley? I can. Yeah, all right. I'll do one. I'll do one for you, bro. I mean, I've shown this pretty much every day for the last few days. There's not much to it, bro. Unfortunately, it's just dumping with the rest of the Atropa ecosystem. So I know people want to like hear something good about it, but I mean, even when I looked at HotX to eHEX, I was like, oh god damn these Hex cheaters. But then I was like, okay, hang on a minute. It's actually just dumping with the rest of the Atropa ecosystem. This is the dark side of liquidity bonding. So it's just exactly the same with GBABY, that the GWAT. It's just selling down. But now's the time that if you love these, now's the time to be at least investigating like ratios and deals. So yeah, now's the time. So boy, it's certainly taken a while. And by the way, yesterday my microphone, when I was listening back to do the timestamps, was really really terrible. Like chopping, cutting in and out. So I'm not too sure why that was. Hopefully it isn't the same today, but it was really, really choppy. So yeah, I tried plugging it in and turning it on and off and plugging it in and out. Hopefully that's made a difference. So I appreciate that, Pulsechainer. Best person. I don't know about best person, but I'll take that, bro. I appreciate that. ROI games, yes, they are coming. They are coming. So if I just show the chart and don't talk about it. Okay, so here's the chart, guys. Okay, I'll end the stream now. Yeah, I don't know what you guys want me to tell you. I don't know what you want me to tell you, sorry. It's literally just doing what the rest of the Atropa ecosystem is doing. And so, yeah, let's just do this. So from the 13th of December, which is kind of around the time where Atropa topped out. So let's have a look at the Atropa Genesis. Definitely hit those likes. Thanks, Oz. Hey, by the way, bro, good stuff. I saw you did a tweet and you added one of your favorite streamers, and he has like 200 something followers, and he thumbs up or something like this on the tweet. Beautiful. Good job, bro. This is all it takes. This is all it takes. Just people consistently doing this. So even you boys with the GBABY, yeah, what kind of chart is this? I mean, it's a chart that's on a discount. That's what kind of chart it is. So, or did you mean like because of all this here? So this is Heiken-Ashi, and then now this is non-Heiken-Ashi. So this is, I mean, you got to put it on logarithm because it just doesn't look any good. So yeah, I like Heiken-Ashi because of the liquidity flows, but because all the charts within the Atropa ecosystem get these fat dumps to start with, it really wigs out the Heiken-Ashi. So yeah, that's Heiken-Ashi, but Heiken-Ashi just shows like more of a seamless flow. And really, it's also looking like, well, in terms of Heiken-Ashi, you're also kind of seeing like a rounded bottom here. So it's looking like it's getting close to some kind of a reversal, but you got to take it with a grain of salt. So that's the USD value. Now we'll show it in Pulsechain value. Yeah. I mean, yeah, this is hopefully people will really hold. But again, if you just like, this is literally just, this is the pDAI chart. This is the Atropa chart. So has this loaded yet? Come on, man. I just want to do the bar candle so you guys can see. Check out Fed, publish thread. I can check out Fed just very, very quickly. Oh. Boy, it's just embarrassing. So if we go to the daily, I mean, it's just exactly the same chart. Like it's literally exactly the same thing. So yeah, there's not much to the story. Not much to the story, fam. It's just you got the. Actually, I'll do two. Where's the old trusty bars? Which one was it? This one? No. Bars. So just from this top here. So what did we say? I mean, well, let's just do that anyway. So here, GBABY that the guat. Of course, and this is a black chart. So get my calm blue. It's so much better with the blue compared to the black. Everyone's got black. Black's boring. You know, even when I was in architecture school, everyone's wearing black. I'm just like, boring. You're all exactly the same. Yeah, I mean, it's the same. It's the same thing. I mean, look, it's got a dump. It's just bonded to the Atropa ecosystem, so it doesn't necessarily mean that we're dumping. It just means that all the other assets within the system are dumping, and then everything else is flowing down with it due to the arbitrage and Hart's law. So I appreciate that, ROI Games. Gold is ripping. Is it? Is it now? Gold XAU. Oh, I don't have the chart there. Actually, I'm not gonna find it. So, but yeah, gold is ripping. Gold is risk off. What was I looking up? The Fed. Reserve Teh. Oh, nice. So it's had a nice little decent recovery. 60% recovery. Nice. Wow. Very nice. Okay, so Fed's coming back. The Fed's coming back. Very nice. So after everybody dumped. Yeah, cool. All right. Yeah. Does it have the power to get to 1-to-1 though? It's a long way to go, but it's looking good again. It's looking good. I mean, I can't believe when I saw this from the top. It's like it was like minus 95. I mean, even from here to here, like it was 75. Where did all this happen? Where did all this selling happen? I didn't even notice all this selling happening. And then there was this, and then everyone kept DMing me. I didn't hear anything during this period about the Fed. Nothing about it selling or dumping. And it dumped 75% from this top, which is really quite substantial. So Fed to $1 is what we want to see. So definitely Fed to $1. The dream is alive. The dream is alive. So this looks very like botty, like buyers but bots at the same time as well. So yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. So do you know if that James token is legit? I mean, it's made from someone within the Atropa ecosystem. It's not made by Maria Rahel, but there's a community around it. Shield Gates was promoting it as well. So yeah, why not? James, I think I was looking at it earlier today. It should be up here somewhere. James is okay. James seems okay. It was doing okay. So yeah, nice. It's doing all right. I mean, the memes for it are pretty goddamn good. So Muddy doesn't like it. So this is where I tweeted about it. And then it did a 4.5x. Now it's up 2.5x. So I'm happy with that. So yeah, that's looking pretty bullish. So yeah, that's looking pretty bullish. It's rejected this. So it's really sort of bounced off it 3 times, but then this is only a 15-minute chart, so there's really not enough definition in it yet, so to really see what it's going to do. It could be like this is a second local top, and then it just fizzles out a little bit before it takes off again. Yeah, so it's hard to tell. This is also another key level. Oops. So yeah, James could be all right. Oops. I mean, it really depends on how heavily people want to support it. So 89K liquidity. So yeah, it's really just up to the community. So yeah, there's things happening there. So Fed to $1. Let's go, baby. I've been smashed on the GBABYs. No good. I mean, I've been smashed on everything within the Atropa ecosystem recently. So it's super body. Yeah, it definitely looks like some kind of bot. Something or other is like doing something there. So with the Fed. I've lost the chart now. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. So I want to try and get a good sleep tonight. So hopefully everybody enjoyed that. 625 watching. Wow, amazing. Thank you very much, everybody. Hope you appreciated the content. And I'll continue this developing story of the Atropa ecosystem Genesis over the coming weeks. So thank you very much, everybody. Take care out there, and let's go. 3 days, the countdown, 3 days. Tomorrow's 2 days. Where are we going to be tomorrow? What moves is the OA going to make? What moves? Let's go. Take care, everyone.